He boarded a plane in Portland on a routine flight to Seattle. He was calm, collected, and asked for a drink. But when he handed a note to a flight attendant, everything changed. The note read, "I have a bomb." What happened next would forever alter the history of aviation and spark one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in FBI history. A hijacker, a ransom demand, a daring escape, and then silence. For over 50 years, the mystery of D.B. Cooper has haunted investigators. No one knows his true identity. No one knows what happened to him after his disappearance. All that's left are a few cryptic clues, some scattered evidence, and an endless number of theories. It all started on November 24, 1971, when a man using the alias Dan Cooper hijacked Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. The flight was a routine trip from Portland to Seattle, carrying 36 passengers and a small crew. He was described as being in his mid-40s, wearing a black suit, a white shirt, and a black tie. Calm and collected, he walked to his seat, ordered a bourbon and soda, and sat back to enjoy the flight. But then, at some point during the flight, he handed a note to a flight attendant. Initially, she thought it was just a note for her phone number, as many passengers did the same. But when she read it, her heart sank. The note read, "I have a bomb." Cooper opened his briefcase, revealing a device that he claimed was a bomb. The flight attendant was terrified, but Cooper remained calm, instructing her to sit down and listen carefully. He demanded $200,000 in cash for parachutes and a fuel truck to be waiting at the airport to take him to Mexico. As the flight attendant relayed the demands to the cockpit, the plane was diverted to Seattle, where the authorities and airline officials scrambled to get the money, the parachutes, and the fuel truck. A tense standoff took place as Cooper stayed in control, calmly instructing the crew to follow his orders. The passengers were released from the plane, but Cooper insisted on keeping the crew on board. The hijacker had one goal in mind, getting his ransom and then escaping. Once the money and parachutes were delivered, Cooper instructed the crew to take off again, flying south toward Mexico. But there was something odd about his request. He wanted the plane to fly at a low altitude, only around 10,000 feet, and at a slow speed. This wasn't the usual approach for hijackers. It was almost as though Cooper was familiar with how planes worked, perhaps giving him a better chance to make his escape. The crew complied, but as they flew over the remote Pacific Northwest wilderness, Cooper's moment arrived. At around 8 p.m., somewhere over a dark, forested area, Cooper opened the rear stairway door of the plane. He strapped on a parachute, took the ransom money, and jumped into the night. The plane continued its flight path, unaware of the shocking escape that had just taken place. The crew reported the hijacking to the authorities, but by the time they landed, Cooper was gone. A massive search operation was launched in the following days. Authorities scoured the area where Cooper was believed to have jumped, but there was no sign of him or the ransom money. No parachute. No body. Nothing to suggest where Cooper had gone or if he had survived the fall. The search teams turned up empty-handed. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Weeks later, a small but significant discovery was made. A bundle of $20 bills, matching the serial numbers of the ransom money, was found along the Columbia River, some 8 miles from the drop zone. But still, no sign of Cooper. No parachute. No body. Nothing to explain how the money got there or what happened to Cooper. The FBI quickly took over the investigation, and for the next several years, they followed every lead, every suspect. But the mystery deepened. Cooper's true identity remained unknown. The search turned up nothing. And while several suspects were proposed, none of them could be definitively tied to the crime. So, who was D.B. Cooper? There were many theories, some of them even more bizarre than the crime itself. One of the most widely accepted theories is that Cooper was a highly skilled skydiver or someone with military experience. The way he executed the jump, opening the stairway door, securing the parachute, and disappearing without a trace suggested he knew exactly what he was doing. The FBI even speculated that Cooper had a background in the military, possibly as a paratrooper, due to his precise execution of the hijacking and jump. Others believe Cooper may have been an experienced criminal who knew how to plan and execute the perfect crime. His cool-headedness during the hijacking, his careful demands, and the way he timed everything perfectly suggested that he had thought about this for a long time. Some think he may have had inside knowledge about the plane systems, which helped him make the jump. But if Cooper was an expert criminal or skydiver, how did he survive the fall? The terrain was rugged, the weather was cold, and he had little gear to aid in his survival. Some argue that it would have been nearly impossible for anyone, even an expert, to survive such a daring jump. But if he did survive, where did he go? Did he have help on the ground? Did he vanish into the wilderness, never to be found again? There are other, more outlandish theories that suggest Cooper may have faked his own death. Some have even suggested that he might have escaped to another country, perhaps Mexico or South America, using a different identity. Others believe he could have been killed by the elements shortly after the jump and his body never recovered. In 2016, after more than 40 years of investigation, the FBI officially closed its case on D.B. Cooper. They had no new leads, and no evidence had surfaced to suggest Cooper's true identity or whereabouts. The case remains open, but the FBI considers it a cold case. But the mystery remains. What happened to D.B. Cooper? Was he a criminal mastermind who outsmarted the FBI? Did he survive the jump and live the rest of his life in anonymity? Or did he perish that night, leaving behind nothing but questions and speculation? For over 5 decades, D.B. Cooper's identity has remained one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. And perhaps that's what makes this case so captivating: the uncertainty, the lack of answers, and the nagging thought that there may be more to the story than we will ever know. So, what do you think? Was D.B. Cooper an experienced criminal or a man who got lucky? Did he escape to a new life, or did he vanish into the cold wilderness, never to be found? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Casebook for more mysteries like this one. We'll see you in the next video.